Hey folks, this is Ariel over at Nyth. I just wanted to do a little update on what's going on around my place, mostly with garden stuff. Before I show it all to you, I thought I'd talk about it a little bit. I wanted to try doing the roost out method of gardening with lots of mulch, both because it made sense to me that it's good for the soil, adding constant compost as the hay rots into the ground, and it would help keep it moist, which is good for me because I have to do my watering somewhat by hand. And I live up on a hillside where it can get dry if it doesn't rain frequently. And there's lots of rocks, so it drains well. Anyway, so last fall I had formed all my dirt into beds. I'd mulched them heavily, probably a foot of hay at that point. It sat there all winter long, decomposing and compacting. This spring in most places it was down to being about that thick. A few places I could tell I got it on too thin. Anywhere I got a thin spot, I did get grass growing through it. Some people have said do not use hay to mulch because you'll get lots of grass. That is true unless you put it on really thick, and then you get very little grass that can come through. It did work, as in this spring I had almost no other weeds other than the thin spots where I did get grass coming through. I only had a handful of tiny little weeds that came up. They were very easy to pull. Their roots weren't really into any soil in any concrete way, so that was quite simple. Some things seemed to like it a lot. My garlic that I planted last fall came straight up through the mulch, through the snow. It looks extremely happy. The mulch has certainly kept moisture in. In some places, maybe too much. I might have got some things too wet. I'm going to show you that. It may have burnt some things. I don't know if my hay was not decomposed enough, despite having been there all winter. Things don't decompose a whole lot when it's below freezing and covered in snow. So it may be decomposing still this spring and even right now, which may have kind of burnt some things. I've also had weather issues this year. I know I live in the mountains, it's cold, it's a zone 3 climate. Some years you get a kind of consistent summer. This year, all spring long, we had frost after frost after frost, and then it went immediately from that to being in the 80s, which is kind of unusually warm. In this last week, we've had temperatures that went from 90 to below freezing and back into the upper 90s, all within 36 hours. There's very few plants that can survive that. Things that like being that cold bolt or die in the heat, and things that like being that hot can't handle being frozen. So I'm a little bit frustrated with my garden. I don't think I'm giving up on it, but I wanted to show you all what it looks like before I kind of change some things around, and that may include moving some of the mulch. So I'm not really sure if too heavy of mulching or too green of mulch is more to blame, or if the weather and climate is more to blame. Anyway, I'm going to show you what things are looking like. As you come over here, there's the house, flowers and herbs along that side of it. They are looking happy, at least. I've got a raspberry bed. These are thornless raspberries that I dug up from a friend's. They, some survive transplanting better than others. These look totally happy and healthy. These, you can see some leaves wilted and some are fine. I think they will grow out, but that's going to take them a little bit of time. This is where the end of my hose is running water right now. If you can see that water volume, I'm just going to move it over here. I'm treating it like a soaker hose to water that bed right now. But that's the raspberry bed. Over here by the shed, I've got a few flowers, mostly stuff that has been given to me as other people divided things in their garden. I've got some irises that are about to open there. Driveway. As you come back to the fire pit here where I was just sitting, you will notice that I need to do some weed whacking and probably mow the lawn again. Here's more of my herbs and flowers. This planter looks really good. Chives look super happy. This whiskey barrel had chives in it too. They came up first actually and got a little froze way early this spring, and they almost died out, and here you can just see the couple that have survived. I don't know if this will get big and bushy because last year it was the same size as that one, or if it maybe won't recover, but more flowers along there. about time to make tea. That is all mint. I need to cut that. I have been neglecting my garden, as you can tell from my weedy lettuce patch. I found in this area lettuce grows best in the shade. In the sun it gets too hot and sunburns, kind of like you can see that guy on the corner did. Got marigolds that I started, obviously need to transplant. Got kale that I started and need to transplant. Got more herbs and such along there. If we come around this way, I had planted grapevines last year. They were supposed to be hardy to this climate. They do not seem to have survived the winter. Nothing is growing out at all. This dirt pile is about to have some bearberries, currants, gooseberries, and elderberries planted in it. My fruit trees seem to be doing okay. Some are bigger than others. That's an apple. Those first two were apples. This is a cherry. They bloomed. I've got some little cherries on it. The apple tree's the same. I've also, if you can see that, had critters pruning it, despite having a fence. So I bought some spray that's supposed to be a deer deterrent. Put that on there. We'll see if we can keep them off my fruit trees. The apple tree had the same thing. The plum tree, I'm not sure if it survived. I think the root is still alive because it tried sending a shoot out from the bottom and then something broke it off, but I'm going to leave it be because I'm going to hope that that grows out again. Pear tree survived, but it's small. Here's my water system. This is my overflow tank. That holds 100 gallons. I can scoop water out of that for watering. The overflow comes into that from my 200-gallon tank, which you can see sitting back there. That is what feeds the hose that was over there watering the raspberries. Comes along here. That pipe runs along the whole front of the garden. Has multiple spots where I can connect a hose. There's a hose connected to it and going up to the raspberries on the other side of the house. Now as we come to the main garden, this was my strawberry bed. Again, I've been very busy the last few weeks and totally neglected my garden, and so this is what it's looking like. These edges were mulched very thinly. As you can see, very little weeds in the center, very much grass on the edges. That's what happens. But my strawberries were looking good until a big tree right over there came down across my fence one night, and the deer came in and ate off almost all the strawberries. There's a couple plants here now that I have a mesh over it. You can kind of see are surviving under there. Hopefully the rest grow back out eventually. There is rhubarb. Again, that was mulched way too thinly. Gobs of grass. Need to weed it and add some more mulch. Here I have got radishes. They should be fast growing. They like cold weather. They're happy here, except for when it gets to 90 degrees, and then they bolt. As you can see, they're flowering. I'm not sure if any of those, these are from various planting stages, but I'm not sure if they're all going to bolt, if I'll actually get any radishes forming. I haven't really seen a bulb, even, you know, these first ones I planted. Well, there's a tiny bit of a bulb under there, if you can see, but they mostly seem to be going to seed, which is pretty, but not what I wanted. More radishes along there, several more plantings, different kinds. If you can see the little tiny green sprouts in there that look like grass, they're not, they're leeks. They grow very slowly apparently. Not sure if they'll get big enough to do anything useful. My garlic appears very happy. Got a thick batch there that was planted last fall, came up through the snow. Got some garlic scapes here, which is like their flower. I'll be harvesting some of those soon and probably putting them in a stir fry. That's elephant garlic, really big and thick. Got onions along there, some from start, some from seed. Curious to see if the seed grows fast enough to produce anything. I've got, let me think, Brussels sprouts. I've got cauliflower and cabbage. I need to add some more diatomaceous earth. Not sure what kind of little bug I have, but something eating holes in my leaves like that. I've got some summer squashes. My first planting completely froze. My second planting seems to mostly be surviving. Again, I need to dust that because something's eating the leaves on that. Oh, there's a first broccoli head. I should cut that one. He looks like he's going to go to seed if I don't. Over here I have more kinds of greens. I've got big kale. I've got lots of little ones that need thinned of, oh, I don't even remember. I have to look at my garden map. I've got bok choy and lots of different greens. all along there, if you can see the little tiny leaves. None of them look super happy. They also have some kind of little bug eating holes in their leaves. Here I've got red cabbage. I've got a few big ones that I bought plants from. A lot of the little ones I transplanted were too little, and they seem to have died. My potatoes, as I said, it frosted a couple nights ago. I have, it seems like my shorter ones, like that coming through the mulch, still look happy, and my ones that were taller, I think got frostburnt, because they're all wilted over. I've got some more seed potatoes to plant, so I'm probably going to. I'm not sure if something that looks like that or that or that is going to grow out, but I do have some green ones, as you can see there. The next bed has green cabbages. These white things are my frost covers. They're all rolled up at the moment because it's hot. More green cabbages, also with something eating leaves. And there's more little potatoes through there. Again, some frosted and some not. The next bed has carrots that I don't believe ever came up. There was supposed to be carrots all along here, and you can see a grass blade or two, but not really carrots. I'm going to replant them, not sure what happened. I have beans, some that look happy, and some that look dead, if you can even see that. I don't know if that was frost or what happened, because they seem very interspersed. The next bed had peas. I had peas come up this year. Last year they did not come up at all. I think out of 7 rows of peas or something, I had 3 plants total that came up. Let me see if I can find a dead one. They came up, they got several inches tall, and then they shriveled up crispy brown like that. Whether they got too wet because the mulch kept them moist, whether they got too hot because it got to be 90 degrees, whether the hay rotting burnt them, I have no idea. I'm going to try to pull some of that mulch back and plant some more seeds and see if I can get peas to grow. I have beets that came up. You can hardly see them down there. They're very little. Not sure why they're growing so slowly. Any of those above mentioned things or something else. This bed again has more beets and more peas, except not really peas at the moment. Anyway, that's what's going on in my garden right now. I intend to pull some weeds, plant some more things, replant some things, and I guess hope for the best. Hopefully our weather moderates a bit, becomes a little less extreme, and hopefully things do a little better. Right now it's a bit frustrating. Anyway, that's my update before I work on it and change it all. Thanks, guys.